Hello everybody, it's Liliana Rowena, and I spent the last week gathering 22 new articles so that I can continue with this video series. I've been having a lot of fun doing it. There seems to be a really good reception to it, and I'm having a really good time. So thank you guys so much for all the support on these videos of me going back and reading the earliest blogs I can find in the Western Lolita community. So I thought it'd be fun because to do a little bit of like a throwback to what kind of inspired this series in the first place, which was my tea time reading series, where I was mostly reading Novala Takemoto essays with an article from 2009 from a Finnish Lolita who, oh gosh, really no internet. My cat put me on airplane mode. Marigold. She is being wild this morning, so she's in the other room. Thanks for bearing with me. Oh my gosh, Marigold. There we go. Yes, I would like to translate this to English. So one thing that's also been fun with, try again, but it could be translated last time, guys. Oh, goodness. There we go. Okay. So this is kind of being put through the Google Translate thing so we can read it, but I thought it was really interesting. So if there's any awkward phrasing in it, this is why. But this is from newvoguechildren.blogspot.com, which is still a live website that you can go visit. You don't have to use the Wayback Machine to see this, which was awesome to see how many blogs are just kind of sitting there. They haven't updated in forever, so when you Google Lolita blogs, you don't find them, but I found them through a lot of web crawling through different blogs. So it says, Novala Takemoto. The small picture is small because my post is very small, so briefly my thoughts on that uncle. I must have been a better translation. Somehow I feel like a lot of people think Novala is mostly a joke. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a fan myself either, and as I said in a previous post, I would consider The Little Princess rather than the Shimotsuma Monogatari Kamikaze Girls as Lolita biblical. If I felt the need to keep such myself, I don't like Novala's style either. However, I will lift up the hat of the Lord because he dares to be what he wills. I have never read any article of a Lolita coming out this hard swinging at Novala Takemoto. However, despite my fanatics, I think Novala has some beautiful and wise thoughts about Lolita. Novala's text could be compared to the Bible. Neither should be interpreted literally, but should look for deeper meanings and guidelines. Thus, for example, Lolita doesn't need friends / Lolita doesn't have friends could be interpreted as saying a real Lolita doesn't need approval of others, but dresses as they please, even if they are alone. That most people find Lolita a little strange, and you only have to live with that consciousness if you want to be a Lolita in spite of everything. Let's go back to Shimotsuma Monogatari. Although I have declared on several occasions that I do not consider this book to be the great book of truth, I still love it. Yes, I don't consider it a suitable Lolita Bible. I hate that word, and I didn't come up with a better one, because Momoko behaves too badly to be a perfect Lolita by my criteria. For example, cheating money from their parents for Lolita clothes is wrong. And no one should idolize an antisocial cheating Lolita. However, Shimotsuma Monogatari is written really well and fun. In addition, Momoko is moving in a better direction during the book. At first, she doesn't believe in friendship at all and doesn't want to call Ichigo her friend. But at the end of the book, I'm used to the movie, Momoko already has to admit to herself, though not to Ichigo, that yes, Ichigo really is her friend. I also like the movie version of Shimosuma Monogatari, although the book is better. Neither do I intervene in Novela's drug mixes. I don't think that's the correct translation for that, but unfortunately, since this is originally in Finnish, I'm kind of relying on the way the page got translated. Too bad it is. Of course, if the Lolita idol is revealed like that, this gives a whole new perspective in Novela's statement. My closest friends are my TV and my houseplant. Oh yeah. Personally, however, I still appreciate Novela's writings just as much. It just doesn't belong to me, where everyone gets their inspiration. Finally, another poem by Novella, which I really like. And that's all this time. Wow, this seems to be a little longer after all than small. A little smiley face emoticon. Gothic Lolita. The world of imagination, free the dream within. The stars are crying a tear, a sigh escapes from heaven at the world's end. Free the dream within, the voice is calling, a song, a prayer from deep inside you to guide you. Look beyond where hearts can see, dream in peace, trust, love, and believe. And there's one really well-written long comment on here, which I will read this person's comment that they commented on this post. It says, well, actually, I'm not taking Novella as a mere joke, even if whoever throws it. I think it's a great man who dares to do what he wants. Shimotsuma Monogatari is a good book, and I also like a few of Novella's columns. As a writer, Novella is a talented man. I actually understand almost all the points in Thunderstorms, e.g. Lolita does not need friends, which I don't think can be interpreted in any way. Lolita can't have friends, but that Lolita, a person dressed in a special style, who certainly doesn't get mainstream approval, no need, as I hope no one needs friends. Appendance or obsession with someone is not good. It is more healthy to just need oneself. In addition, I appreciate Novella for supporting boy Lolitas. It's great that someone encourages boys to dress like Lolita boys, because boys dressed like girls are less likely to be aesthetic, but still Lolita may be a good fit for boys too. Novella has a relatively masculine, like this Lolitist standard style. I've never seen that word before. Although the elements are very feminine. Novella may look weird, but hey, what kind of Lolita wouldn't look weird? I personally find it a little ironic if someone Loli feels entitled to criticize other people dressed in it. And when it comes to drug mixing, well, it was possession of cannabis. Oh, that was not a wrong translation. Okay. Well, it was possession of cannabis. Later, Novella admitted to smoking. And to be honest, what kind of writer wouldn't ever smoke? Admittedly, I'm definitely also mildly against drugs, but sometimes people get the picture as if Novella was guilty of dealing some high-class drug in elementary school. But yeah, that's a nice thing. So I think this is really interesting, also because I feel like I don't think American Lolitas really take the time to understand what goes on in the European Lolita community. This was a super interesting read. The person who wrote this in Finnish. Again, it was put through a Google Translator, so it may not have been 100% the way that it was supposed to be, but I thought it was interesting enough to include in this series, because Novella Takemoto is pretty much universally loved, at least from my experience being in the Lolita community, even when I was younger. So seeing this article from 2009, August 16th, just coming out swinging for this man was really interesting to me, and kind of reminded me that even as I'm going through, you can't really treat the Lolita community as one big monolith, even when you're like doing the history of it, because I do notice nowadays when we are talking with people or trying to educate on the style or the history of the style, people say, well, Lolitas back in the heyday believed this or believed that. And you can certainly find trends, but it's way more complex and interesting to be able to look at the community and be like, oh yeah, there's just people who are like, you know, I don't know if my idea of what I think an ideal Lolita is this thing. And that I think ties in really interesting with the articles that I've read for the last bits of the series, where I read To Be a Lolita, which was very much talking about this beautiful Disney princess-esque idea of what a Lolita should be if they're being a lifestyle Lolita. And then the second one saying to be like undefining the Lolita lifestyle, being like you can be whoever you want to be and still be Lolita. I feel like Novala Takemoto, and in this article, really it kind of is showing a push-pull that I saw going on in this time period from what I've been able to see. I wasn't quite into Lolita yet in 2009, I don't believe. I think I started getting into Lolita closer to 2012, 2013 is when I started looking at it, so this is a little before my time. It's also really hard to find blog posts before 2009 on most of these blogs. That seems to be when most of these blogs that I've been finding for this series started, with the exception of when I tap into the Wayback Machine. The earliest article I think I've been able to read is from 2006, so I think this is super interesting. This kind of just person who seems really annoyed by Novala Takemoto. I really enjoy Novala Takemoto's work, but I do kind of get why someone might be like, maybe that's not the best thing to idolize. This seems like this might be unhealthy. And I can get that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that article and like my little brief thoughts on it. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Liliana Rowena.